Um, well, hello everyone. We are welcomed here by the cast, no, the crew, the creatives, the team behind the film, the amazing short film playing in the honorable mentions block. Pop the Trunk. I want to welcome Vendela and Carl. Hello, everyone. And I just realized that Carl is also Jax.
Yes, the rumors are true. The writer director is also the pretty much the heart and soul of the movie. If anyone who's ever seen it,
When did this cameo come? Like, did you know you wanted to do it? Because I've also like tried to sneak myself into my films, but like not like sometimes it's not deliberate. Sometimes it's like I can't find an actor and I just go and do it.
yeah, kind of a mix of that, I guess. It was initially going to be a cop character that I
Oh,
was going to play. But that raised a lot of questions, like story wise, like, oh, there's a cop that they
oh
kind of
yeah.
blow off. Like, that doesn't seem too realistic.
Mhm.
Also, we couldn't get a cop car, so we were gonna like put a one of those flashy lights on anything, and that doesn't seem too realistic. So
Yeah.
Jax was actually like a last minute weekend before shooting switch that, I think turned out for the best.
How did you decide? How did you write this whole thing about like no, it's Jax, not Jackson?
Purely because we needed a plot device for the characters to figure out that something was up. And I didn't want it to just be a plot device. I wanted to have some type of gimmick. I wanted to have some type of stupid name. So I settled on Jax and Jackson as the
Is
gag.
it would you say it's based on a personal experience of someone changing their name and like only going by that name?
Well, I mean, a little bit drawn for myself. When I started college, I didn't really love the name Carl, so I started trying to go by CJ.
Oh,
And just a little pointer for those watching at home. Don't give yourself a nickname, all right? It doesn't work. And that's kind of the joke with Jax is that he really wants to be called Jax, but he's just Jackson.
so this is a student film? This is a student film. I'm a student, it's a student film festival. I just got back from Nifty. So I'm just like, is it like I just that was the question the whole festival. It's like, did you make this as a student? You did make this as a student. This is a student film festival.
This is
So
Student Film Festival, we're repping.
you ref, my sister is going there. My
No,
sister is going there in the fall.
hell yeah.
He's there right now for the orientation.
Oh, nice, cool.
Okay. Are you guys seniors?
I
Um,
graduated last year.
You graduated last year.
I graduated last month, or
Oh,
earlier this
well,
month, I guess.
congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
So I have to say the film worked amazing. I want to know how you guys, Vidal, how did you guys meet and how did you guys start collaborating on this project?
We actually met in class, um, and the assignment was to swap our scripts with someone in the class, and the professor put us together. So Carl was writing Pop the Trunk from just having like I think it was a 10-page script that I had written, and then he was supposed to write it into his own thing. And from there, we from that class, we collaborated after class throughout that summer and tried to make it a feature. But then that was too big of a task to do. So we settled on making it a short. And so we kept writing, making so many revisions. But yeah, it was mostly just Carl writing it and me putting in my thoughts about for the story. Um, but yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So I want to know, tell us guys about your background and how you discovered film. How did you know you wanted to go into film?
Hmm.
Um,
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can start rambling. I'm a good rambler. So initially when I started college, I was studying history, and I wanted to go to law school. And after like a semester or so of in-person classes, because I had start amidst the pandemic, everything was online. When I finally started taking those in-person classes, I was like, oh, this sucks. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. So I switched my major to like TV film production, which is what I enjoyed doing in high school. I worked for my school news show,
Mhm.
editing like man on the street type interviews. Um, and I would just like put in memes, and it was the funnest thing ever. Everyone loved it. It was everyone's favorite part of the show. So it was like being like a class clown for the whole school. And I really liked that. And then when I realized I could, maybe do that as a career with film, I was like, oh, this is crazy. But it really wasn't until that class we took where it went from like, just making funny content, like content versus film in my mind. Like I wanted to make content. And then after taking this class with screenwriting, I wanted to make more narrative. I kind of fell in love with the narrative structure and telling a story,
Mhm.
which I think you can do with film. But also, I just I love telling good, heartfelt stories, but I like them being comedic. I also do stand up. I really like, I started with making the memes, started doing funny. So comedy is my big thing, but with films, it's important to also tell a good story, and that's what I want to achieve.
Amazing.
I feel like my story is kind of more basic. It started out with making iMovie films as a kid, and then I started editing a lot on Final Cut in like fifth grade and just making like random stuff. And then so like throughout high school and everything, that was just kind of the interest I had to do outside of school. And then when it was time to go to college, choose a major, I just fell back on doing film because that's what I like doing the most. Um, so yeah, I mean, it went from editing to writing, and then I met Carl, and he was like, "You suck at writing. Let me do it." So then I kind of just fell into the camera bit of everything, and so I really started enjoying all the technical parts about production.
Mhm.
Um,
Let me defend myself real quick, all right? If Vendela was writing in her native language of Swedish, all right, she probably could be their Scorsese, okay? But she's living in an American world, all right? You got to speak and write American, okay?
Yeah.
And that's
You
that's where
gotta
the
write American.
I'm a funny guy, huh? So that's where the interplay and had to come in the collaboration. But she was very integral to the writing of that script to make sure it didn't just devolve into nonsense. All right, she kept it grounded,
Yeah.
um, with her perspective.
Yeah. Della, are you an exchange student or are you live here in the States?
no, I moved to Florida when I was 13 with my family, and then I'm not in Florida anymore. I just moved to Ireland a couple months ago because my papers expired, so I'm here now.
Very nice, very nice.
But
Uh,
it's good.
yeah. When was the first moment that this idea came into your brain, Carl? When and how did it come to fruition? I hear there was a class project. Tell me about.
Yeah, yeah. So really, the initial idea came from Vendela, and then I just kind of hijacked it and took it over. So I think she could help us figure out where that came from, the wild mind of herself.
Well, I feel like the original story is much different from what it became, but I was inspired by the breakup that my best friend had in high school. It was very, very dramatic, and it was just all about revenge, kind of. And then I wanted to write about a breakup where the friendship was strong. And so
Mhm.
then I wrote it for class, and Carl found, he was able to write his part. And then he came in with his experience of having sort of like a similar situation, but it being two friends with the same like love interest. So that's kind of how it turned into what Pop the Trunk is now.
Very nice, very nice. So, what was the casting process like? Something I love every time I watch this film. One of the many things I love about this film are the amazing cast. You guys know, right, that how do you say it? Is it Andrea? Is that how you say your name? Andrea
Andrea.
Andrea is nominated for an award for Best Supporting Performance. I can't remember if the main actress is also nominated. I'm gonna have to check that. But uh, point is, uh, there are a lot of acting. There's a lot of acting prowess, including yourself, Paul. Where did you
Yeah, yeah.
where,
Just stop.
where did you find these where did you find these girls? You
Well, Brenna, we knew from previous projects. I had worked with her on a couple other short films the year before, and so I knew her. And then we knew Michael too from other classes. He's actually in our major, so we knew him from class. And then Andrea, that's more you, Carl, right?
Yeah. So Brenna, who played Lily, and then Michael, who played Keith, were kind of like the Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks of our college. They are in every student short film, and they do great performances. They're both great. And then Andrea was a freshman at the time, and she had auditioned for a class me and Vendela were taking. And she was like on the short list, the callbacks for a film I produced. And I kind of liked her for the role, but the director and the rest of the ATL, they wanted someone else. So I was like, oh man, that's a shame. But I kept her in my back pocket because I was like, all right, I want to make Pop the Trunk. I want to do that. So when that opportunity came around, I hit her up. She was down, and it was kind of like a passing of the guard because whereas Brenna like had been in so many of these short films and was graduating, like she was leaving UF, she was done with all this stuff. Andrea was like, a fresh face and new. So it was really fun to have those two on set, um, kind of like different perspectives, different parts of like their acting career, and able to just kind of like riff and become friends. And there's no better way to be friends than on a in my dad's beat up Chevy on a U-Haul truck bed, towing it because they didn't actually drive. I don't know if we're gonna get into all of the guerrilla filmmaking, but we had to get very close very quick with this crew, and they all worked together very well. And then Andrea even later that summer went on to work on a film with Brenna that Brenna had like written and created. So it was really wholesome, fun experience bringing those all together. And then there's me. So
Amazing. Um, so Vendela, uh, there's a lot of car scenes, shots. Uh, were you on a set? Did you build a rig? What was that situation like?
No, I was on set. Wherever the camera was, I was right there next to it. In the trunk,
Oh my God. How did
in
you
the front
fit?
seat. Oh my gosh. No, that trunk was actually really big, so it wasn't an issue. The only issue was that it was broken. So we did the opening shot once, and I did not want to do another shot or another take because it almost locked us in there.
Oh my
The
God.
Do you want me to
Did you
help you
want to
out?
explain?
Because it's so the picture car is my dad's like old car that I've kind of started driving, and the clicker doesn't work. So if you try using the clicker, just even unlock the doors doesn't work. It doesn't pop the trunk, and then the button inside the car also doesn't pop the trunk. Something happened years ago. I don't know. It doesn't open. So what we had to do is we got like a locksmith came over. He figured out how to get it open like once, and then all like trunks have like a kidnap latch or whatever, like inside of it. So like if you get kidnapped, you can like pull this latch and it opens. So what I've done is I kind of jerry-rigged like a I don't even know. It's like a steel rod that connects to the kidnap latch, and it like wires outside of the car. So from the outside, you just pull this latch, and then it opens the car. So when we were filming the scene of the body getting the first shot of the movie where the body's dropped in the car, um, the latch fell inside, so there's no way to open it from the outside. So the shot that's in the film, the opening shot, the wire falls in, and there's no way for me to open up the trunk from the outside. So there was like a solid like 5 to 10 seconds of Vendela being trapped in there, which I guess she can describe, I guess, of how she felt and why she didn't want to go for another day.
I didn't know I was claustrophobic until that moment. That
Call
was
the union
crazy.
over this. I think
It was so
that's
dark in
all we
there,
can
and I
do.
was like, what do I do? But
So how were you able to get it open? Did you hit?
the actor Michael somehow got it open.
It's
I don't
just
really
a
know.
kidnap latch. So as long as
Oh
it's
yeah.
inside.
So he found the
Yeah,
that lad.
very
Yeah.
nice. Because I mean, like it's not completely wrong that he was trapped in that trunk and couldn't get out, and he was in there against his will. Kind of, not really.
Yeah, that's how you get characters in character, you know.
Yes, yes.
You don't give them away out of that
We need
trunk.
to start doing this, like, to really get method, actors who play people who get kidnapped. We need to start kidnapping them, you know?
Yeah, I'm on that policy. I'll vote for that.
Yeah. Um, so what is, as we're wrapping up, what is one thing you wish you knew before shooting this film? And before uh or it could either be one thing you wish you knew before shooting the film, or something you wish you knew when you were just starting out making films.
Hmm.
Maybe how to schedule. I don't know if you can schedule it better. I just remember the weather was
Oh,
such a trouble because it was raining one second and then it was sunshine and filming those car scenes during the day and trying to keep the consistency. It was really difficult. I don't know if there's a way to like better plan that. Either that or um, knowing that you actually do need quite a few people on set to be able to help create this. Because at some points the producer was holding the boom, and it would just have been so much easier to have like an extra person there. Um,
It's
so
a
something like
it's a
that.
very important lesson I've learned many times. It's like get yourself a nice, solid crew. Like, you know, don't have filling in. And make sure everyone
Yeah,
can stay the whole time. Because they say they can come and then they leave after 2 hours. And yeah.
that too.
yeah. I guess whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh yeah.
So preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. Um, but just getting it always done, I think, is the biggest lesson I learned from it. Because just during the whole pre-production and the conceptual basis of this film, I was like, how are we gonna ever do this? You know? You always hear that kill your darlings. I had the belief this whole story was just the biggest, sweetest, most lovable darling, but I was like, there's no way this can ever be made. There's no way with our shoestring budget this will ever be able to make something that's halfway decent. But, you know, we pushed through the storm, we made it work, and now we got a final cut, and I couldn't be more proud of. So, that's the lesson I took away
Now you've
from it.
gone to a film festival
In New York,
in
New
New York.
Yeah, but go.
Is it oh my gosh. Mets fan, so I take some offense to that hat, but it's okay. Um what where can so last as we're wrapping up, where can people find you on the socials?
On Instagram.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Instagram at Carl Cinquino. That's my name. Don't wear it out. I'm getting back into YouTube now that I have graduated. My YouTube channel is a play off my real name. It's instead of Carl Cinquino, it's Barl Bimbino. So that's coming back in full effect this summer. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, making another film this summer. Just want to keep pushing on, you know.
Vendela, Instagram.
Vendela.
Oh, it's just my name. So at Vendela Axstrand. No dots or lines or anything.
Amazing. So thank you guys so much. Pop the Trunk is premiering at the NYC Student Film Festival on July 11th at 7 p.m. It's a virtual ticket, so get your tickets right now, or else we are going to have to trap you in a trunk.
It will happen, yeah.
All right, bye everyone. Thank you guys so much.